Hi, my name is Tiana Parker. I did my final project on analysis of leadership portrayed in movies. The movie that I chose was Lean on Me. It's based off of a true story back in the 1980s. This movie was about a high school that was at the top and then slowly started declining down over the years, as in they had a lot of gang violence and drug users, a lot of fights, and just people who didn't care about their education. The high school lacked a lot of leadership, and so what this movie is about is that they brought in a new principal who tried to get things back in order. So the main character who had the leadership role is Joe Clark. He was appointed as the principal of this high school. He had many different leadership styles. One of the main ones, he used a lot of authority. So when he first came to the school, they had a school meeting or assembly type, and he noticed that there was a lot of people who were just acting out of control. So when he came in, his first impression on the students and the faculty was to show that he was strictly about business and that he wasn't going to tolerate anybody who wasn't serious about the education. So Joe Clark, he came in. I would say that the leadership style he used was based off of the behavioral approach on Blake and Mutin's grid. He was more of a 9-1 type leadership, which is the authority and compliance one. And he expelled about 300 kids at first, and those were the kids who used drugs, or they were doing they were fighting or stabbing each other. It's just things like that. He expelled them, and then that actually made others realize that he was serious about what he was doing. I think that this was a very effective use of leadership. Even though he was kind of mean and disrespectful, I would say that this was effective because he needed to make sure that he was going to get the respect from the people that he needed to get the respect from, and that he was able to control all the students and the staff, and so that they were going to listen to him and him only and what he wanted. As he used the authority compliance approach, he showed that his concern was mostly for the results of the students, and their main goal was to pass the basic skills test needed for students to actually graduate. He managed to switch his approach from the authority 9-1 on the grid to more of a, I wouldn't say perfect 9-9, but he was close to a 9-9 on the managerial grid. He had a concern for not only the results of what he was trying to do, which was the education, but he also had a concern for the students and the relationships that he formed with these students, because he actually did care about them. Another form of leadership was portrayed in this movie. Joe Clark used forms of situational leadership, so he used different leadership styles for different situations. Not saying that he didn't use like a set type of leadership for the school as a whole, but he did use an S1 and S2 approach from situational leadership. For the S1 approach, since it focuses mostly on directiveness, he was actually very directive, and then he intervened when he needed to. Most of the students and faculty didn't think that he was very supportive, although with the S1 approach, he was able to make sure that the students were learning exactly what they needed to learn, and that the staff was teaching the students the right material and that they were teaching them in the right way. And he intervened when he needed to. He also used an S2 approach by being high in directiveness and in supportive behaviors. He showed that he was very supportive of the students eventually in the movie and supported them when they needed to be supported. For example, one of the students didn't have a place to stay, and I mean, within the movie, she did get pregnant, but her mom wasn't supporting her in the right way. So Joe Clark took it into his own hands to make sure that the girl's mom, the student's mom, was there for her and was very supportive of not only her education, but where she was going in life. And then on top of that, Joe Clark was still being directive, making sure that the student was getting her work done and being in the right places when she needed to be there. There was a lot of different situations where he used different forms of situational leadership.